Luge at the Olympic Games dates back all the way to 1964. But you know what? The World Championships has even a longer history, with the first Worlds held in 1955 at the Holmenkollen in Oslo. On that day in Norway, there were 30,000 spectators to watch the first ever FIL World Championships. Maybe not that many tonight in Western Canada, but a group of enthusiastic luge friends, family, and fans are on hand as we get set for the start of the Women's Singles World Championship event. Run number one coming up. Hi again, everyone. I'm Tim Singer. Pleased to introduce, fresh off of her podium in the women's doubles competition from Team Germany, Diana Eitberger. Diana, how's your day going so far?
Yeah, absolutely fine. After this great result, I think I'm ready now for the women's singles race.
Indeed it is, the Damen single. And we get set for a look at this ride from top to bottom. Felix Locke, the two-time Olympic champion, provides the run, and Julian von Schleinitz provides the graphics. Tell us what we need to know, Diana.
Yeah, this track in Whistler is absolutely a highway, and you need the whole speed from the start, and there are tricky points like now 12 to 13. You need a perfect run to have the fastest time in the end of the track.
No doubt about it, and a lot of trouble happens down on the bottom of the track, as we will see if a world record, or new track record, can be set. The track record here is one of the longer standing ones. It's 7 years old, set by Diana's good friend Natalie Geisenberger, a 38.394 in December of 2018. Beautiful shot high above this track. This was built in 2005, and of course was the stage for the 2010 Olympic Games. Incidentally, Canada has hosted now 5 World Championships over the years, 3 of them in Calgary, and this is the second in Whistler. Now, during your race, how did that temperature feel, and how did the track hold out?
Yeah, it was perfect conditions, and we still had the sun with us, and now it's getting dark, and I think it's getting colder also, and this is the tricky part. The athletes have to handle it, because it could be that it's a little bit more slippery than when the sun is out.
And then that all involves the equipment setup, as well as we have 30 in today's race. Actually, 31 have qualified today at the World Championship race. Only 20 will make it into run number 2. Keep an eye on the bottom here, page number 2. That's your super seed. Those are the ones we expect might be the favorites here. On the podium yesterday in the mixed singles was Germany, Austria, and the United States. And they'll be joined by a couple of others, probably from the same nations. I'm guessing will be the favorites.
Of course, I think the names of the last or of the whole season we had until now. We have Lisa Schulte. She is
consistent.
Yeah, absolutely, and also Julia, always a surprise with the speed, and of course Madeleine.
And right there at the top of that page, Anna Bierreiter, don't forget, she won the World Championship 2 years ago at the race held on the track in Oberhof. It was actually really cool to see, Diana, earlier today on your podium, the 4 women that were on the podium in women's doubles represented 4 different tracks. You grew up in Oberhof, Jessie in Altenburg, Cheyenne in Winterberg, and Lena in Königssee, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
I never think about it, yeah.
This was a full national podium race for Team Germany. So kick back, get ready. This is a 2-run race. It will be a total time competition. If I'm not mistaken, Diana, just like the World Cup, 20 will qualify for run number 2. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay, so 20 will be in, 11 will be out. So there are 2 races in one. You know what? In reality, there are actually 3 races in one, because there will be the race for the under 23 championship. those 6 or 7 athletes in today's race who are 23 or under take part in their own futures race. We have 4 Canadians in today's event, and we'll start things off with Carolyn Maxwell, 24 years old from Calgary. And she speaks for her whole teammate earlier this week when she says, we just want to soak in the home crowd and really appreciate this moment of hosting a world championship, because there aren't a lot in North America.
3 strong paddles. We will see, maybe there are athletes who make 4. Yeah, but now the competition has started.
Some of the tracks, I remember at Königssee, you'd make 8 or 9 paddles.
Yes, we will do it again, maybe next season.
That's such a favorite spot, and we hope to return to Berchtesgaden Königssee next year. Carolyn Maxwell setting the stage here. She's had part-time World Cup action over the last couple of years.
They had a lot of training here at this track, and I think, like you say, they want to show the crowd that they are at home, and now we have the first time with 39.23.
So as a point of comparison, that is about, let's see, that's about 9/10 of a second off the track record, which tells me, Diana, it could be threatened today. We'll see. It'll get colder, and the best are yet to come.
Yeah.
A lot of problems in the races today, in the doubles races, really on the last 4 or 5 curves. They call it gold rush. You almost took gold. It was the bronze rush for you.
Yeah. The last corner, it's so hard because there's in the last point there's a lot of pressure, and if you don't handle it very well, it hurts. And I've got blue legs.
Blue legs.
Because of the training, and of course, if we were handle the track very well, I told Magdalena, okay, Magdalena, now we have to catch curve 16
right
in the right way, because nobody wants to slide with us in the mixed relay if we can't do this good.
I thought you were going to ask her if she would take the top position, and then she can get the blue legs. Here's Romania's Karina Buzătoi. She's 23 years old from the town of Campina. Karina's been on tour all season long. Currently ranked 24th in the World Cup. Coming off a pair of top 20s. Yeah, she's skidding a lot.
Yeah, the problem starts in curve 12. She was a little bit too early, and then slided 2 times too early on 13. Everyone knows who is in Whistler curve 13, named 50-50.
That's right. I believe that name came from a former USA bobsled pilot, Stephen Holcomb, who ended up winning Olympic gold on this track. But when he first was training here several years before that, or the year before, he said, yes, we have a 50-50 chance of making it through. Yeah, that was a fairly significant hit right there. I get a feeling we might see some excitement today. Good to see she can smile. And we'll be back hopefully for a run number 2. Now here is a woman that has been waiting perhaps all of her life to slide on her home track here at the World Championships. Veronica Ravenna, born in Argentina and proudly represents her home nation, but has spent most of her life, at least since the age of 6, not only in Canada, not only in British Columbia, but right here in Whistler. Veronica, I'm not sure if still, Diana, but I know for some of her career she has trained with the Germans.
Yes, we work with her together and tell her our secrets when we're in Europe, or of course at the German tracks. And now for this week I asked her for the secrets of Whistler, and she helped me a lot. And so I think she also wants to show her home crowd that she can slide with the world.
Sure. Her father has long been involved in the sport as the federation president, but a big supporter of the sport of luge. There he is, Jorge Lavena. So this was a nice run for Veronica, a nice opening run as she builds up a pretty big early lead on some of the first athletes to come down, with Italy waiting at the top.
And this were a new PB for her.
It was?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was. At the pre-run for the World Championships, she had 39.1 and now 0. So this is
39.03.
Yeah.
Terrific. Well, Veronica, part-time luger, part-time real estate agent here in Whistler. It's not a bad place
She's so happy.
to be selling. And there is your head coach, Patrick Leitner, helping Veronica with the sled. Now the first of the Italians in today's event, Verena Hofer. Verena had a good race yesterday in the mixed singles. That was a fun event, mixed singles and mixed doubles.
Yes, it is.
You're a little frustrated?
Yeah, a little bit.
You were on the podium.
Yeah, of course I were, but just 100s in the back of the Austrian team, and I think for this special start for the mixed, or also for the team relay, I feel very old. And if we have the sprint, we don't have a start. So,
Well,
yeah.
They say you're only as old as you feel, and so don't
Yeah.
say you feel old.
Oh, sometimes, yes.
Verena Hofer, the first of 3 Italians in today's World Championship race. She's 23 years old, from South Tyrol, the town of Brixen. She started in the sport in 2015. Let's see this split time, 1500s up now on Ravenna. Little bit up and down in that Thunderbird curve number 16, but keeps it off the wall on the finish straightaway as Luge Hall of Famer Armin Zugler, who has taken control of this Italian program. Just off of the podium in women's doubles was Team Italy earlier today. Seeing anything interesting here?
No, there could be little mistakes we don't see with our eyes. This track is so fast, and everything had to be so perfect that you have the fast timing.
And Toby Thundel was telling me yesterday that it isn't always a question of watching it, but hearing it. He said, well, we're commentating, listen, because when the athletes approach curve 9, it's either going to be quiet or not, and if it's not, that could be trouble.
Yes, and cost a lot of time. So this were the same mistake we had in the first round today. Little skid there in 9. Nobody will see it. But now, yeah.
Caitlin Nash grabbing the handles at home here for Team Canada. Caitlin also grew up here in Whistler. She has been in all but 1 race this year on the World Cup, and she's finished in the top 20 5 different occasions. Still a progressing young athlete.
Another athlete from Whistler. This is Caitlin Nash on our home track, leading right now.
I think she knows the track very well.
Well,
with a lot of runs, of course. And it's nice to be here. We are waiting for so long to have this World Championships in Whistler. I know 2021 when the COVID season.
That's right. It was scheduled for then, and then it wasn't like they could push it back just 1 year because you had the Olympics, you had other teams that were already in line, tracks to host. So this was the first available opening. First place time right now for Caitlin Nash. You know, to your point, Diana, I was once talking with someone about how, imagine you're in your own home. In your own home, you can go from your bedroom to your bathroom at night with all of the lights out. But if you're visiting someone else, you can't do that. So that's how it is for a home track luger. There are many things they can do because they know it so well.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I had my World Championships 2023 in Overhof.
That's right.
And it's amazing, but there's
Pressure.
Yeah, it's also a lot of pressure. Everyone knows that you knows it best.
That's right.
And there are so many people watching watching it, and all the friends, all the family, everyone around.
Sandra Robacher, the next of the Italians. Sandra always seems to be having a bit of a comeback from week to week, and she has taken a lot of time off by her own admission this year to rest her shoulder and prepare for this, her World Championship race, the biggest one of the season. Her start time was the 3rd fastest so far. Okay, finding the speed. We saw Andy and Marion do this earlier today. They found a lot of speed down below, and that hasn't happened a lot with Italy this year, so that was encouraging. As Ozzy Hasselrieder, an Olympic medalist in doubles luge, and one of many coaches on this Italian team. Sandra into the lead. That's still gotta hurt, even when you rest it for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a fighter, and every time she wants to come back, and she loves sliding, of course. And yeah, a little bit late into 16. That's why she's so high in the beginning, and it costs a little bit of time, but she managed to get in there.
Well, we get set for our next Canadian, Trinity Ellis, waiting at the top, the 22-year-old Olympian. It gives me a moment to talk a little bit about the luge world, sending its warmest wishes to Ariane Jones and Jeff Christie, 2 longtime members of Team Canada. They welcomed their first baby recently, but due to some infections as a result of that birth, Ariane is now in intensive care in the hospital, and we are all wishing for her comfort and her speedy recovery. Now here's Trinity Ellis. Trinity has been around for a while now in the sport, still just 22 years old. It's a critical time, Diana, when you hit that age, because then you sort of make the decision, am I in it for the long haul, or am I running out of time and I need to go to university or something like that?
Yeah, in Germany we have the sport system, and it works very well. I don't know how it is with other nations, but I heard a lot of, if you want to study or something like that, you have to make this decision if you do sports or do
or
something for
continue
your
on
private.
something else. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's as Sandra Robacher continues to lead the way. Trinity in 3rd place right now, just behind her teammate Caitlin Nash. And if you'd like to follow with the results as well as our live streaming pictures, go to filluge.org and click on the live sports ticker link, and you will get the results. Yeah, and it's also a question of finances, because a lot of these athletes that are 22, 23 years old see their friends finish university and start making money. And as you know, Diana, you're not going to make a lot of money in the sport of luge.
No, we don't. We have to find ourselves in all the circus, and we can do make own histories with all the themes we want to talk about.
That's right.
So yeah, this could also be a part or interesting for sponsors or for doing something next to sliding.
This is the 2nd World Championships for Melina Fischer, who last year finished 12th on her home track in Altenburg. Melina's had a pretty steady season. She's had a result as high as 4th place, and that was in Sigulda, where you never know what's going to happen.
Yes, and she is one of my favorite roommate this week.
Okay.
Yeah, I had an apartment with her and also with Magdalena, and so I have both little chicks. Yeah, so she was a little bit too early on 30, a little trouble there, and big skid.
Well, bouncing a little
Fighting.
bit, but most of that just after she crossed the finish line. This is a 5th place time now for Melina Fischer, the first of 4 Germans. And probably it's safe to say she was the one that we didn't necessarily expect to be in the top 5, but any of the remaining 3 could be. This next one's going to be very exciting. This next athlete will be fun to watch. the young Canadian who just seems at home here.
Yeah, you see the skid now hanging out of 50-50. It's a little trouble happens there for her, but she's also young, and it's not so easy for young girls to compete with all the old ladies.
Speak for yourself.
Yes, of course, just for myself.
As you are. Ember Lee Susko, she had a top 10 finish at the World Cup last year here in Whistler at the age of 18. She was almost the fastest throughout the whole week of training. She's a 12-time national champion, and that dates back to like the 12-year-old and 14-year-old age groups, but she's won everything there is to win. And now the question is she ready to take on, as Diana puts it, the old ladies? So far trailing Robacha.
I read the story of her at the, in the FIL.
Website, right?
Yeah, on the website. Yeah, it's so nice. She just wants to slide.
Just enjoys it.
Yes.
And that speaks a lot. If you're not going to love it, then you're not going to be motivated. Look at that run. A 38.834. That's still a half second off the track record. But I think it's safe to say, Diana, anywhere in the top 10 for this 19-year-old in her second World Championships would be an incredible accomplishment.
Yes, absolutely. And if I remember the times of the seeded group, Julia were sliding 38.7.
Right. Yeah.
So I think this could be a perfect race or a perfect run for her to show her home crowd what she can do.
Knowing how to find that line. There's so many tricky curves here at Winterberg. And now we move to the athlete who announced her presence with authority 2 days ago. Hannah Prock missed the entire season on the World Cup with a back injury. And here she is now, grabbing the handles. She returned for the qualifying race 2 days ago to determine the start positions. All she did was win that race. Now the two-time Olympian, Hannah Prock, on course. Let's see if she can follow up Friday's win and stay out ahead of Susko. Already she is.
Yes, the Austrian, they had a little race here in Whistler to fight out the 4th spot for the team. And after her injury, it's perfect to see her sliding again.
With so many great Austrians, it's worth noting that Hannah was the fastest of them at the Olympics in Beijing. She had a 5th place finish at those games. Second right now, and a fairly distant second behind Ember Lee Susko of Canada. We've completed this group of non-seeded athletes. There will be more after the seeded athletes still to come, but it's Canada leading over Austria, Italy, and then Canada actually with 2 others in the top 5 right now. Giving the home crowd something to cheer about. What was the best crowd this year? I watched some of these events having to commentate remotely. Winterberg blew my mind down there at the finish.
Yeah.
How many people there were there?
So we had perfect conditions in Winterberg, if you remember. It's once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime is so true. I didn't recognize the background.
Yeah, and of course, although there were rain and snow in Oberhof, but the crowd every time is awesome.
Right.
Doesn't matter how the weather conditions are. Yeah, but of course, Winterberg were so great because all the tourists who didn't go to skiing, they come to the Luge event.
Right, yeah. That's true. Here's the first of 4 Americans. Summer Bridger is a 5-time winner in the World Cup. I believe one of those victories may have been here in Whistler. Most of them have been in North America. I know that for sure. Her best World Championship finish was a 4th place in Innsbruck back in 2017 when her teammate Erin Hamlin was on the podium. 7 thousandths up on Susko now, and Ember Lee was just so beautiful down below, and as a result, the American is falling behind by a little bit.
What this track need is the feeling fly or die. If you have too much pressure on your body, it's like a break for the sled.
Right.
And if you're relaxed and more comfortable, then the sled is running.
That's such a key ingredient, Diana, in any sport. You know, we can talk about speed and strength and equipment and agility, but relaxation is underrated. Once you're relaxed,
yes,
the rest of the body will take over.
And this is, nobody can watch it. Nobody knows what happened in your mind. So you're sitting on at the start, and you don't know what happens. And you can have the best material, you can have the best coaches and also the athletics, but your mindset and also the feeling you get if you're sliding fast and also relaxed, can't share it with anybody.
Well, Summer Bridger down in second place, and here's the next of the Austrians, young Barbara Allmeyer. She broke out big time on the World Cup this year with a 4th place finish, a career best at the opening race in Lillehammer. This is her 2nd World Championship. She had an 18th place finish last year in Altenburg. Young athlete from just outside of the Eagles area where that track is. And we talked a little earlier, Diana, about drama with 5 Austrian women and only up to 3 spots for the Olympics. There'll be some tears, some drama, and a little bit of competition among people who are usually pretty good friends.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, maybe they won't have this drama with the double boom.
That was a rough start, and actually that was very close to the finish line. It didn't cost her a ton of time, but it cost her enough, and this is actually a little bit of a surprise. Barbara Allmeyer back in 8th place. She doesn't have a ton of experience on this track, but she's had a very solid season.
So yeah, the Austrian they won't have the drama with woman double. So I think in our nation there will be more fighting.
A little bit of women's doubles drama.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the sport, and we're fighting for the spots for the Olympics. And
so few spots available in women's doubles. If you didn't know, folks watching, there last we heard only 11 positions available for women's doubles. It's great to see it at the games, but hopefully it will grow as the games progress. Now Kendia Apariod. Kendia has been bouncing around the World Cup and World Championships for many years. She had a great race last year, a top 6 at the World Championship in Altenburg, Germany. 28 years old, from the luge sliding crazy town of Sigulda. She mentioned earlier in the week that you need to have a good start time to do well on this track, and her start time, unfortunately, not that good. It was only the 8th fastest. She's cutting into that lead. This could be green here. It's going to be close. Lost a little bit, Diana, but that looked like she was trending as her brother Christers shows his approval down at the bottom.
yeah, and Kendia, she's a good slider. And if you see that she is 600ths ahead, in the back of Ember Lee. This time we're
getting a sense of what Ember Lee did. Yeah, for sure. Kendia with no World Cup victories, but she's had a handful of podiums, a lot of them on her home track in Sigulda. Her teammate Alina Bota still to come, but coach Martins Rebenis giving some last-minute instructions. I'm not sure if that light was red, but here is Natalie Mock. Natalie really is on a bit of a roll. She's been very patient as a one-person Switzerland team. She trains with the Germans but she is responsible for funding herself. She had a breakthrough podium last year at the World Championships, a second in the sprint event. And then she comes off, Diana, a podium in Women's World Cup just 2 weeks ago in Oberhof.
Yeah, great result for her. And also nice to see that all the work pays off she made. And also the money.
That's right.
She's beautiful.
Okay, she's the first one to really be making a threat to Emberly Susko in the last 5 or 6 sleds. 0.3 of a second. She's held her own. She hasn't extended this. This clock will stop one more time. Let's see what it is.
She's a
Falling behind.
very consistent.
Consistent. Yeah, for sure. Well, 600ths, the closest by far anyone's come. Well, actually just in front of Kendia Apariot. The Swiss fans ringing those cowbells. You'd think we were at an alpine ski race, right?
Yeah.
Natalie's family has come here, sharing a house with Julia Talbotz's family here in Whistler.
This is so funny. I hope they make all the time cheese fondue or
For sure.
or raclette.
If they do, I'll be there.
Yeah, I would be there too.
Well, this is going to be an interesting one to watch. Our next competitor is the second of the Americans, Emily Sweeney. Emily coming off of a podium finish yesterday in mixed singles. That was her second all-time World Championship podium. She also has 2 second-place finishes so far this year, or a second and a third on the World Cup. And she took some time off right before the Worlds to rest her always injured or sore neck. But she looked spectacular yesterday in women's singles, mixed singles. 31 years old, originally from the northeastern U.S., now is building a home in northern Italy.
Two-time Olympian, Emily Sweeney.
Dominic was asking me how to build a house because it's also my project at home. But yeah, it's nice to see that all these athletes settle down and find a spot where they want to live.
For sure.
And for now, she finds a lot of time.
She finds a lot of speed, a 10th up. Now, she didn't have a perfect exit of 16, so she gave away half of that advantage, and you can tell she's sort of kicking herself as a result of that. But all of the same, for Emily Sweeney, it is a first-place time for the time being, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 remaining among the seeded group. Do you think she gave something? I mean, we saw on the clock that she gave away some time. Was that just that little exit of 16?
Yes. You don't imagine that it costs a lot of time, but you need a perfect run or 2 perfect runs.
That's right.
All right, not bad. One more. Let's go, Ashley. Let's go, Team USA. Woo!
Who needs us when you have Emily to analyze her own run? And she says, go Team USA. So she will turn her attention back to the top. Ashley Farquharson. Ashley, 25 years old. She grew up near the Park City, Utah track, where we will be next year for the World Cup, but now she lives at another American track in Lake Placid. As far as this Whistler track, Ashley says she likes the track. It's fast and there isn't a ton to do. So it's great for just, I think we talked about this, it's great for just chilling and trying to gain speed.
But it don't work if you tell it to yourself. I have to be relaxed. It doesn't work.
It
it's
has
just
to
a
be
feeling.
natural.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's a good point. Right now we're the 4th fastest split time in the early going here, and now a full 10th of a second back, holding at about 4th place at the moment. Ashley battling for top 3 or 4 here. She crosses in 3rd place. She found some speed down below. If you take Emily's top 2/3 of the run and Ashley's bottom third, you'd have a pretty good time. As it is, they hold 2 of the 3 top spots right now, so a good showing. Standings at the moment. USA in first, third, and sixth. Canada in second. Switzerland in fourth. And Latvia in fifth. But we turn our attention quickly back to the top. We still have 2 more Austrians, 3 more Germans, and perhaps the best of all of them is waiting at the top. Julia Taubitz, a 30-time winner on the World Cup. Julia has 5 podiums in her World Championship history, 1 gold, 4 silver. She grew up near Altenburg, but has based herself for many years in Oberhof. What is it about Julia that makes her so amazing?
I know her from the moment she came to us when she was junior, and of course she have to develop in the sport and have not so good results as now. But she is so professional now. This is amazing, and how she handled all the situations, all the pressure. It's great to see that all these little girls became big women.
Indeed they did. Now she's still trailing, cutting into that lead, but she's not making a big statement here. We would have expected green, but we came as close as he could get, almost 7 thousandths of a second, as Toby Alt lets you know how short that distance is. Win or lose, Julia is always smiling at the finish, and that is a deficiency of 7 thousandths she certainly is capable of making up in run 2. Yeah, sometimes we call it afterburners. Sometimes Julia can take a 0.2 of a second back, and then 20 seconds later she's a 1/10 of a second up.
But for this moment, the track is too short.
That's a good point. Good
Could
point.
be.
Ja, immer das Beste der Woche. Einer kommt noch.
Merla Frebel, the next of the Germans getting ready at the top. Merla really having a great season. She's 4th in the World Cup standings, top 8 in every race, 2 times on the podium. And Merla, Diana, has a pretty good relationship with this track here in Whistler. 2 years ago, she captured her first ever podium, and then she backed that up last year with another 3rd place finish.
Yes, and of course, she won also to catch the big girls and want to show that she's one of the best. And you see it at start time. I think this were the fastest.
Start time was the fastest, 3.37. 300ths off of Natalie's record. Falling a little bit behind the American Emily Sweeney right now. Well, Merla's been good top to bottom. This is turning out to be a great race at the moment. 400s, everything is so tight. Great exit of 16. So the exit compared to the American was a little better, and that's where she was able to cut into the lead for a moment. It's USA still leading over 2 from Germany. Canada remains in 4th, and then another American in the top 5. We still have 3 more, make that 4 more to come among the seeded athletes. Fan club. Diana, you didn't get to have your family come here to watch you win 2 podiums so far, but you can say hello to them back in, it was a little early in the morning there, but
Yeah.
Levi hopefully is asleep.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Chris have maybe just 4 hours for sleeping because Levi is waking up early.
That's right.
But yes, my family is at home, safe home, and of course Chris was watching the race and he was crying because he's my best person.
Yes, he is your biggest fan, and welcome to all of our viewers watching no matter what the hour around the world. Thanks for tuning in. This is Latvia's Alina Bota, the only woman not named Taubitz or Egla to win a World Cup race this season. Alina captured the top spot at her home track in Sigulda in December or early January. She's out in front now. She always has fast start times as well. It's the second fastest.
It's a little bit time, but you see at the results or in the end of the time, we're fighting about 100th of seconds.
She loses quite a bit of time down at the bottom. We saw that yesterday as well with Alina in the mixed singles. Really interesting because I didn't see a lot of mistakes.
No.
That was the fastest start we've seen so far today from the Latvia.
The last of the Latvians in today's competition. They only brought 2 here to the World Championship. Alina got married over the summer, and her husband, Martins, earlier today.
He was waiting in the finish.
I say he captured a podium position in the men's doubles competition.
So this is a big luge family.
And speak of big luge families, Madeline Egla's sister earlier today became a world champion for the 2nd year in a row in women's doubles. Now Madeline, the World Cup leader and 4-time winner so far this season, grabs the handles in her own right. Madeline does not have a huge history at the World Championships. Her only podium, a bronze medal. But she is certainly one of the small group of pre-race favorites. Already in the lead with the 3rd fastest start time.
She won here in 2022.
A 1,000th of a second separating the Austrian from the leading American.
Now she loses a little bit time, but we can't see it. So this is Whistler, and everything has to be so perfect.
She's picking up some time down here. She could cut it and make it close at least. Losing just a little bit more at the bottom. It's a 6th place time. So you see a 6, but you also see a .094. So what that means, Diana, is we've got a close race with 1 more left in the seeded group. The top 6 are all separated by less than a 1/10 of a second.
This is crazy. Yeah, absolutely. But like our Polish friends will say, Normalprozess.
All right, please translate in English or Deutsch or whatever works for you.
This track is so so short, and so this time will be so tight. Like you say, the first top 7 or top 6 are in a 1/10 of a second.
Olympic silver medalist Anna Bierreiter from Bavaria has had a consistent season with a lot of top 6 results, but only 1 podium. She had a 2nd in Altenburg. However, Anna has risen to the occasion in big events in the past with that Olympic medal, with a World Championship 2 years ago, and her first ever podium, by the way, was in her first season on the World Cup. She won that podium here in Whistler. So she has good memories. The 25-year-old from Berchtesgaden now on course. Let's see, her start time is 10th fastest. So I'm guessing that's not her strong suit.
Yeah, this year she is a little bit struggling. I think there's also a lot of pressure. You just see what happens in the last season, and you're a world champion, you have a silver medalist, and for these young girls, they have to learn with all the strugglings, and I think she will find her happy end. Maybe next year, but I keep my fingers crossed also for the World Championship. She's fighting so much.
10th place right now, which is, that can't be anything but a disappointment as Tony and Toby down below, they show their support, but she's got a lot of work to do. Still within 2/10 of a second.
Sometimes you need to let it go and not to hold it so much.
Inside?
Just, inside. Just enjoy and feel it what you can do, because for me, in this years, it's a present. I know this will last season or the next season will be my last one. And so I enjoy everything more than ever.
All right, one more to go now in our seeded group, and to many, it was a bit of a surprise 12 months ago in Altenburg, Germany, where this woman, Lisa Schulte, who had never been on a World Cup podium, she not only made it onto the podium, she made it to the top of the podium with a World Championship title. Diana, she's worn that bib proudly all season long, and it's been another good season for Lisa in Austria.
Yeah, but what I see also in a seated training, that Austrians struggled a little bit with this track, and yeah, we will see how she's fighting.
And she's already a surprisingly 0.12 of a second back. So believe it or not, for this 5-time podium finisher this year, top 10 could be the best we can hope for. It's a bit of a surprise.
For me, is it not?
Because of what you were saying, the Austrians?
Yeah, no, not because of this. You know, World Championships always have its own rules. And of course you have favorites, but the most time who will win are maybe not the favorites, like Orlamunda Gubitz do it.
Sure, that's right. That was an exciting moment. So here's the situation, Diana. We have made it through the seeded group. Of course, we still have another 9 athletes to come, but it's an American Emily Sweeney leading by 0.07 of a second over Julia Talbot. So that's going to be a great race in run number 2. Germany also in 3rd. Surprise Canadian Emberly Susko in 4th place. And another American, Ashley Farquharson, making up the top 5 with Madeline Aga right behind. So here's some trivia for you. As far as the USA leading after one run here, their first ever World Championship was in 1993. That was Wendell Suko. The next was 16 years later, 2009, Erin Hamlin. Do the math. We are now 16 years later. So we'll see what Emily Sweeney can do.
Should I tell you something crazy?
Yes.
When I became, or when I got the silver medal in Pyeongchang, 2018, it were 30 years later. Then one of my favorite, Ute Oberhofner, comes from my club.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
She became the silver medal.
1988 in a
Yes.
Germany, East German
30
sweep.
years
Yeah,
later.
that's good. That's good. Well, we get set. Our next competitor already on course. This is Yuliana Tanitska, the young Ukrainian, but we are pleased as we move into this non-seeded group to introduce a very special guest here into our commentator cabin. He's the president of the International Luge Federation, Einars Fogelis. And Einars, welcome. Are you having a good weekend?
Thank you. And first of all, a good evening for all of us here in the Whistler on the screens. Yes, we have a good week.
You have been an incredibly busy man. So this is the final World Championship, but not only are you here, you were at the Junior World Championship, you were at the Natural Track World Championship, and you've been at most of the World Cups. How do you do this?
Not mostly, but in the last 3 weeks, of course, we had the Natural Track World Championship. It's amazing competitions in Kitche, not far from Eagles. Is very good organized, and so the good race and the best feedbacks from the athletes. It's really. We was happy. The first of all with the competition, and second also with the weather conditions, like in last weekend for our younger generation in St. Moritz. The same as here. Decision will take till the last run, right? Some the first 5 or 6 or 7 athletes after the first run, everybody has possibilities to take gold.
That's great. By the way, I needed to rib you on one thing. You talked about great conditions. In Winterberg this year, Diana and I were talking about this. There were conditions we've never seen. It was so beautiful, and you weren't there. So maybe you should stay away from Winterberg, or else we're just going to have more rain, right?
Maybe in my life, maybe only the once was such weather in Winterberg. But I would like to say it's the good job from the organizers. That's better and better every year.
No question. They're taking care of it. By the way, that was the 4th of the Americans, Emma Eriksson, who comes down right now. only the top 20 will make it into run number 2, so we'll be keeping an eye on who's on the bubble. Emma just missing out. She's in 21st place, while Veronica Ravenik right now sitting in that very tender 20th place position. So again, on the subject of conditions, we've had a beautiful week here in Whistler, so that's a great thing, Einars. But talk a little bit about this group of people that put on this event, and how are they doing so far from the eyes of the president?
We have a good group in the FIL. The young guys, the youngest generation, as a sport director, Matthias Bohmer, also the sport director, all former athletes. The technical director, the under 6, also in the natural track, Andreas Castiglioni, all team, and of course the event organizers. It's great. It's great. It's growing up every year, and we have a very strong team.
And Diana, you're having fun being in Whistler, right?
Yeah, of course,
Yes.
all the time.
So fun.
Because I love sliding at home, but if you come out of the European bubble for a long time, it's also nice to find your own way and far away from home, and just sometimes you have the feeling you're on holidays, but of course you have to do your work and also all the competitions and stay focused all the time. But of course, every time it's an invitation to stay also next to the track. And yeah.
For you, I think the schedule is so strange. So every week you move from the World Cup to the World Cup, and till end of February.
And this is
Yes.
this is a mother as well.
Yeah.
So 21st place for the final Italian competitor, Nina Zugler. Nina in 18th place, by the way, in the World Cup standings this year. There are 2 more World Cup races as the tour will head to Asia after these World Championships. Klaudia Damaracka of Poland getting ready at the top. So I'm joined again by FIL President Einars Fogelis. And Einars, for those people who don't know, they've seen a lot from you, they've heard a lot from you, but what was your sports background that got you into the sport of luge?
It's very interesting. My first sport in my sports background was alpine ski, and
Okay.
then only after the technical university I was start with the track constructions. Was a very young and without the experience of engineer in Sigulda, and then step by step I was involved in the Latvian Federation and also in the International Federation. It's a long way.
And there's
But I'm so lucky because around me was a great people this 30 years.
It's a great sports tradition. Perhaps next to hockey, I think maybe these sliding sports in Latvia, there's been success in all of the sliding sports with skeleton bobsleigh and luge. So it's been impressive. How big is that country?
Now the traditions for the sliding sports in the Latvia is more than 100 years old.
Right. So before we let you go, a couple of more questions. As Claudia is having a little bit of an issue here, Diana, a lot of skidding in that 50-50 down to the Gold Rush and Curve 16. She gets it together for a 26th place time, and we will see Claudia tomorrow, as Poland has been in the relay every week. But disappointing, for sure. Einars, here's the big question on the mind of everyone. The most beautiful area in the world, arguably, the Dolomites, Cortina d'Ampezzo. What's the status on that Olympic track now, less than a year away for the Olympic Games?
Cortina is absolutely the highest priority for our federation. I think also for our neighbor federation, and it's the plan A for us. First of all, for our athletes, we must slide after the 1 year in Cortina.
1 year out. Right, so we're hoping, and the construction, I know you've been visiting it, I've seen photos. It seems like the first 2/3 are close to done, and they're working on the bottom.
Yes, the last report I began 2 days ago from our track building commission from Mr. Ashar. He's there every second week together with colleagues from IOC, and every every second week we came the actual reports about the actual stand.
Here's Sweden's Tova Kohala. Tova coming off of a wonderful result 2 weeks ago in Oberhof. Both she and her brother Svante had career best 11th place results. So just to be clear, we're hoping for a homologation in March. That's the plan. That's what Italy needs to do. And then we would have extended testing and international training at the beginning of next season. They have all summer to finish.
Yes. We are ready. Our athletes is ready for the pre-homologation, and we cross the fingers and we hope, and we are looking to the schedule for the constructions, and I really hope we reach our goal.
Wonderful. Well, Einars, we do too, and good luck for the rest of this season. And thanks so much for joining us here in the commentary booth.
Thank you, Tim.
How
Thank you,
about
Diana.
the job Diana did earlier today? You handed out a couple of stuffed animals to her so far this weekend on the podium.
One is enough for Levi.
All right, that was Einars Vogelis. He is the president of the International Luge Federation. Thanks so much to Einars as we turn our attention back to the top of the track. And here's Olena Shmaha of Ukraine. Olena, 25 years old. She's from the large city of Lviv, one of the largest cities located in the western part of the country. As she puts that shield down, she and Tenitska could be battling, Diana, for what may be only one position next year for Team Ukraine at the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
Olena, 27th place in the World Cup standings. If you do not have your ticker open on your computer or phone in front of you, I will tell you Veronica Ravenna still sits in 20th place, watching very closely over these last 5 athletes.
This were her first goal, I think, for this year, to compete in both runs. Last year she missed a second run in Altenburg, and now she had a chance.
Right, and she's come close. Her best result was a 23rd place in Sigulda, and Sigulda roughly is the Ukrainian home track. They put in such great results there. A full second behind the leader, Emily Sweeney of the United States. So Diana, we heard it here first. You're saying that next year is your last season on tour. Why not? You put in a great career.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I feel much more that it's time to stay at home with my family, and Levi will go to school next year.
Okay.
And I will spend time with him and also with my family.
But what if Reebok came to you and said, Diana, we're going to pay you €1 million to be your personal spot? No, I'm just kidding.
I think Chris will say
Motherhood
this is
more
fine
important.
because we built a house. But no. I enjoy the whole time with the team and competing. This is what I love. This is the heart what beats in my breast, and of course it will be an emotional end, but yeah, for now I can relax and enjoy every race I have,
Athletes in the
and
Korean luge program.
For sure.
that's nice also.
What's been a great career. We have 2 Koreans in today's World Championship race, including this woman here, Hae-sun Young, who finished 29th last year at the World Championships in Altenburg. Not threatening at all anywhere near the top 20, as Veronica's position is starting to look better and better with just a few sleds remaining. So we are headed to Korea next week for a World Cup. Diana, I'm guessing you have not been back there since a memorable, very chilly night at the 2018 Olympic Games, so you have great memories of this location.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2 or 3 nights ago, I was dreaming about it to come
Really?
back, and I was dreaming that I show Magdalena all what happens at the places and in the spot. So I am excited to go back, and I hope also that all the emotions, all the feelings I have 2018 will be there again. And of course, I'm excited because in our team, there's just a handful of athletes who were there. And
Right.
for everyone else, it's a new track. And so our experience will help them to find out
A little
how
bit
to-
about
yeah.
how to handle curve 9.
For example,
I think
it could
that's
be
been
also a
I
problem
think that's
for-
been haunting Felix since 2018,
Yes.
so he can't
Yes.
wait to get back there. Here is Yubin Shin. We haven't seen Yubin at all on the World Cup, so this is a tremendous opportunity for the youngest athlete in today's race, just 18 years old. She's from Gyeonggi-do, South Korea. The Koreans are coached by the former Canadian head coach, Wolfgang Staudinger, who was an Olympic medalist on his own in doubles for Germany.
yes, and also you're the Canadian team.
Canadian, right, of course. And, you know, speaking, going back to that Olympics one more time, it was a memorable night for you and also for Canada, which captured its first ever Olympic medal. It had come so close at so many games. So that was an exciting evening for the folks here.
Yeah. This night was such an emotional roller coaster for me because I know this were the last race of Alex Gaff, and
That's right.
she wanted to have the medal. And after the third run, I was in the fourth position. Natalie first, Tatiana second, and Alex in the third.
Right.
And I had such a speed and great time, so I catch up Alex for one moment. I saw her eyes and she was so frustrating, but then were Tatiana sliding
Right.
and she falls behind.
Recall that so far, yeah, so well.
And I was happy about me, but said
everyone was happy for Canada on that day.
Yeah.
No question about it. Well, this run boils down to our final athlete. It's Elsa Desmond, Team Ireland. Elsa did not get an opportunity yesterday to race in the mixed singles as her partner, Seiya Kobayashi, failed to hit the pad. Now, Elsa, Diana, was very open in admitting she's having a lot of trouble on this track. And what we may see here is her putting her feet down pretty early in the run just in order to control her speed, or at least that's what she said she was going to do.
Yeah. She were in our group this week for the training. She has also trouble again, but she fighted with the track and she won't give up.
No, she's got a lot of courage, and as a result of a former race here, she suffered even a head injury to a degree. So understandably, this medical doctor wants to be very safe. And this, all things considered, has been a very clean run for Elsa Desmond. A little leader box for Alina. I'm not sure what that was about, but she had a little fun in there. Well, breathing a sigh of relief right now is Veronica Ravenna, who represents Team Argentina, and along with all of the Canadians, she makes it into run number 2, or 3 of the other 4 Canadians. So some good home cooking. But we'll get to the top of the leaderboard in a moment as we pay off Elsa Desmond in what could be, Diana, her final competitive run ever. She's not sure yet, Elsa was saying, and no one loves the sport more than she. But there are very few Olympic positions available next year. And if it doesn't look like it's going to be that likely, she's got a real career. And we've talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
Emily Sweeney of the U.S. Bear in mind, at the World Cup last year, she was in podium position after run number 1 before giving it away, but she has been spectacular all season, and especially all weekend. 7,000 Statobits, and Mirla Frabel sitting in that familiar bronze medal position here in Whistler. You've got a Canadian in 4th place, another American in 5th, so the North Americans are faring well. Don't count out Madeline Egla in 6th place. They're all within a 1/10 of a second of the lead. So I ask you, Diana, what do you expect to see? Julia with a little bit of a comeback here? or Emily continuing her mastery of this track?
Yeah, of course, my heart is beating for my national friends, but for the sport, it would be great if Emily will catch it up.
It would be interesting to see. Germany, Austria, Latvia, and the USA have all been on the podium this weekend. We'll see what gives as the World Championships continue here in Whistler with run number 2, as Diana and I will be back in just about a half hour.